Welcome, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel here with my partner, Clark Kellogg. Just ahead on College Hoops Tonight, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. We'll reveal the best of the little guys in our mid-major top 10 list, as well as show you the best action from around the nation. But first, let's take a look ahead at some absolutely huge battles coming up this week in college basketball. This should be a terrific matchup. Both these teams are fighting to improve their position among the nation's elite teams, and they're going to have to go through each other to do it.
Michigan State plays a brand of defense that should make the difference in this game. They are a tough team to score against. And if you don't squeeze the orange, I think they'll be in top form for this contest.
But that's not the only item on the schedule that has NCAA fans buzzing. This will be a fantastic battle. This is shaping up to be a prototypical style versus style matchup. Great scorers on one side of the court, great defenders on the other. This is going to be a real showdown.
Kansas State should come out on top if I had to make a prediction. Backcourt is so solid this year, and their guards love to get out front. That gives them a huge advantage in a game that should be as fast-paced as this one will be.
Now it's time to reveal our list of the top 10 mid-major teams in college basketball. You're looking at the future Cinderellas of the NCAA tournament.
Top to bottom, they're certainly not as strong as a list of the top 10 major conference teams, but one or two of them have just as much talent as any of those teams, especially the team in the top spot.
Navy is setting themselves apart from the other mid-majors in more ways than one, but what really impresses me is their imposing strength of schedule. They've adopted the anyone, anywhere scheduling philosophy, and it's transformed them into a very dangerous opponent. Now, let's turn our attention to some of the action of the past week in the NCAA with our games of the week. We get started with an important conference battle in the ACC. Clemson was victorious over Boston College.
The Clemson Tigers made the most of their opportunity to move up, and that's going to serve them very well as we get closer to conference tournament time, even if it's just in seeding position. McGuire was the hero of this one with a terrific performance. All scores. He was splashing threes from all over. In the half-court set, it didn't matter. He was letting them fly and watching them drop.
Although this next contest seemed predictable enough, one of the best teams in the country suffered a severe shock to the system. Baylor defeated Nebraska.
No one could have predicted this outcome, Greg. Nebraska is going to lose their spot at the top of the poll for sure after this loss. Baylor played some absolutely stifling defense. They made the guys on the other side work for every basket, and you can see that reflected in the shooting percentage. They never let up on the defensive end. That really took the pressure off the offense and allowed them to dictate the tempo of the game. To me, that was the biggest factor.
That'll do it for us here in the studio. For my partner, Clark Kellogg, I'm Greg. Hi, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel, joined at the anchor desk by my partner, Clark Kellogg. Next up on College Hoops Tonight, brought to you by State Farm, the number one auto insurer. We'll preview some of the biggest games coming up this week in the NCAA, as well as show you the best action from around the nation. We begin with a special player who was an easy choice as our player of the week in college basketball.
Daniel is our choice this week, and he might be winning an even bigger award at the end of the year. There's a lot of talk about him as a player of the year candidate.
He was flying like fire this week, Clark. The performance he gave leads me to believe there might. Now let's take a look ahead to the games that get top billing on the schedule in the days to come. This will be a fantastic battle. This is shaping up to be a prototypical style versus style matchup. Great score on one side of the court, great defenders on the other. This is going to be a real showdown.
Florida plays a brand of defense that should make the difference in this game. They are a tough team to score against. And if you don't squeeze the orange, they'll take it. I think they'll be in top form for this contest.
But that's not the only item on the schedule that has NCAA fans buzzing. I'm looking forward to this game just like everybody else. This matchup has the possibility of becoming quite a little rivalry because these teams match up so well against each other, and it's always a heated atmosphere when they're on the court together.
Baylor would be my pick here. They are so strong on the inside that I believe they'll be just too tough to match up with. It would really surprise me if that talent discrepancy on the inside doesn't tell the tale of this game.
There was no shortage of excitement on the court in the past few days, so let's take a look at our games of the week. We get started with an important conference battle in the Pac-10. Oregon State beat UCLA.
The Oregon State Beavers made the most of their opportunity to move up, and that's going to serve them very well as we get closer to conference tournament time, even if it's just in seeding position. Oregon State was deadly from long range. Their three-point shooting made a huge difference. I don't know if they came into this game with a plan to attack from long range, but that's definitely the way it turned out. And when you keep knocking down threes again and again like they were, it just deflates the opponent.
Although this next contest seemed predictable enough, one of the best teams in the country suffered a severe shock to the system. Cal beat USC.
This came right out of the blue, Greg. What a wild and crazy game. USC was sitting pretty as a top 5 team, but you've got to have some doubts about them after a loss like this. Saunders took care of business in this one. His 15 points led the team. And in addition to his scoring, he is a tenacious defender. He makes everyone around him a better defender. With this combination of offense and defense, it's easy to see why they won this game.
That'll do it for us here in the studio. For my partner, Clark Kellogg, I'm It is an annual rite of spring, bringing with it excitement and emotion that can be found in no other sporting event. The NCAA Tournament. Your wait is finally over, the brackets are ready, and the drama of March Madness is about to begin. Hello, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel, and this is the NCAA Championship Basketball Selection Show, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. Joining me at the anchor desk, as always, my partner, Clark Kellogg. We're all set to show you the seedings and pairings, so get out your bracket sheet, get those pencils ready. Here are the basics. Of the 65 available tournament bids, 31 are automatically given to conference champions. The tournament committee hands out the remaining 34 bids on an at-large basis. An opening round game will take place on Tuesday night to narrow the field to 64 teams. But before we unveil the brackets for this season, here's a look at the final top 25 media poll of the season. There's one big change you'll notice in the rankings. The Oklahoma Sooners fell all the way from the number 16 spot to now. Let's take a look at the NCAA tournament bubble and see which teams are sitting at home with their fingers crossed, hoping to see their name in the brackets. There are a lot of worthy candidates among these 10 teams, Clark. Which of these bubble teams stands out to you right now?
Dayton impressed me this year, but there were occasions when they seemed to lose focus for a game or two at a time, and those setbacks could be what keeps them out of the tournament.
And we have a few more teams in similar position, right, Clark?
Colorado should be considered among the best of the major conference teams not holding an automatic bid, but there are plenty of non-power conference teams knocking on the door that may prevent them from getting an invitation.
The LSU Tigers on to the Nebraska, and finally out. Now here first up, now the number 8 seed. Michigan comes next up is the number 2 seed. Wake Forest comes in as the number 3 seed, finishing at 26-9. South Alabama comes in to face them at number 14 with 15 wins in the tournament championship of the Sun Belt Conference. The Southern Miss Golden Eagles are in as the number 6 seed. They'll be taking on the number 11 seed, the Florida State Seminoles, with 19 wins. This bracket has the potential to give us a sensational matchup in the regional final if everything goes according to form and the top 2 seeds can survive the early rounds. Next up, we'll take a look at the San Antonio Regional. The Connecticut Huskies are the top seed, finishing at 26-5. They were winners of the regular season championship in the Big East. They'll take on the Black Knights of Army, the number 16 ranked team. This marks their 4th appearance all time in the NCAA tournament. Northwestern comes in as the number 8 seed, finishing at 21-10. Houston comes in to face them at number 9 with 21 wins in the tournament championship of Conference USA. Virginia comes in as the number 4 seed, finishing at 19-8. And they'll take on the 13th seed from the America East Conference, the Hartford Hawks, with 17 wins. Penn State enters the field as the number 5 seed from the Big Ten. This marks their 13th appearance ever in the NCAA tournament. They'll be getting ready to face the number 12 seed, the Detroit Titans. Finished the season with 21 wins.
The Penn State Nittany Lions will be an extremely dangerous team in this tournament, mainly because they have such terrific veteran leadership. Coaches love when they have.
Our number 2 seed is from the Big 12. Next up is the number 7 seed. The Massachusetts Minutemen have established and now the number 6 seed, the Providence Friars, come into the tournament looking into the future. On to our 3rd bracket. The Nebraska Cornhuskers our number 8 seed is from the SEC. Oklahoma enters the field. The Oregon State Beavers are in as the number 5 seed. USC comes in as the number. Next up is the number 7 seed, the San Diego State. And now the number 3 seed, the Auburn Tigers, come in. Washington comes in as the number 6 seed. It's the first question every selection Sunday. Which is the toughest bracket? Well, this bracket looks to me like it wins that prize. And finally, let's have a look at the UCLA Bruins are the top seed, finishing at 23-7. They were winners of the regular season championship. Next up is the number 8 seed, the Aggies of Texas A&M. Iona comes in as the Miami comes in as the number 5 seed. Boston College enters the field as the number 2 seed from the ACC. It's yet another appearance in the brackets for a school that's no stranger to the NCAA tournament. They'll be getting ready to face the number 15 seed, the Red Hawks of Miami of Ohio. Finished the season with 15 wins.
The Boston College Eagles do the one thing that all great teams absolutely must do, and that's play tremendous team defense. These guys have been shutting down opponents all year with a combination of speed, intelligence, and sheer determination.
And now the number 7 seed, the New Mexico Lobos, the Kansas State Wildcats. Our number 6 seed is from the A10 conference. Some of the lower seeds in this bracket have the. What are your thoughts on our top 16 seeds, Clark?
There are no real off-the-wall picks that jump out at me. These 16 teams are all pretty deserving. Let's give the committee some props this year. Kansas State has some flaws that are going to keep them from being a dangerous team in that number 3 position. There are usually some Final Four contenders among the 3 seeds, but I'd look elsewhere this year.
Now let's bring the conference picture into focus. The Big East gets 7 teams. The ACC with 6, 5 out of the Big 12. The Pac-10 gets 5 teams.
What a down year for the non-power conferences. We're used to seeing at least one of those conferences compete on the level of the power conferences, but not this year.
It's too bad we didn't see more small conference schools in the tournament. We showed you the bubble teams before. Now that we know who's in and who's out, what do you think of the selections, Clark?
Villanova got some very good wins over some very good teams, Greg, and that showed the selection committee that they can play with the toughest competition in the nation.
While they start prepping for their first round games, the 5 teams on the other side of the page will be full-time students again.
Western Michigan stumbled to the finish line coming down the stretch, and that's not the way to close out the season if you're hoping for an at-large bid. When they couldn't get it done in their conference tournament, their goose was cooked.
All right, Clark, now that we know all the teams and matchups, time to get the tournament underway and let the madness take over.
Greg, let's throw